So I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about weights and biases. And I put together this page specifically for the use case of Kaggle, because I feel really passionately about Kaggle. And Isaac, I know you're also into Kaggling, and Mani, who's in the chat, is also super into Kaggle competitions. But I wanted to use this as a jumping off point to talk about what we do at Weights and Biases. So our whole goal is to help you track your experiments so you don't have to repeat them. And you can be smart about finding the most optimal model faster. So one of the things that you can do with weights and biases is be able to iterate on your model architectures really quickly, and you're able to track any kind of model with weights and biases. So for example, here you can see you can use 1db log, and you don't even have to use it within the context of a model. You can use it in the context of a for loop, and anything that increases over a time step you can log with weights and biases. We also have callbacks for XGBoost, LightGBM, scikit, and these are all one-line callbacks. So you're able to track any model's performance using weights and biases. If you're working with Keras, you can just add a little callback and it'll log all of your metrics for you. We also allow you to do hyperparameter sweeps, which I will get to in just a second. Also, if you're working with PyTorch, we also support PyTorch. There's a link in here. I will drop all of these links into the chat so you can look at them. The second thing you can do is you can debug the performance of your model in real time. And you can actually log really cool things like metrics you saw before, but you can also log plotly charts. You can log images. So if you're training a semantic segmentation model, you can log the images, the predictions of your models. If you're doing reinforcement learning, you can log videos. If you're working with audio, we have support for that. 3D objects is really cool. We've been working with a lot of self-driving car companies, so we built a little integration to allow you to visualize point clouds and be able to draw bounding boxes around them. So if you're working with any self-driving car data, you can use this. And again, all of this is just one line of code, 1db.log, and you pass in the thing that you want to log. You can log HTML, and like there's a bunch of other things. There's also something that we just launched. I'm gonna try to find it really fast. I think it's this one. So my colleague Nick built this really sick logger for molecules. So if you give it any molecule data, we can actually show you the structure of these molecules. This is what Jonathan used in his talk. And I will link Jonathan's report in the, I'll drop it in the chat after this. So you can also do hyperparameter optimization. And I want to move through this really fast, so I'll just show you two things. You can make parameter importance plots that show you which hyperparameters were the most important. So then you can hone in on a set of hyperparameters and a set of values that were the most important for your model. You can map all of these in this little parallel coordinates plot, which allow you to see what hyperparameter values are actually the most effective for the metric that you want. And then we also let you save models and reproduce them. And it's just one line of code. You pass in your model, the file with your model weights, or a file with your entire model architecture. And then you can restore it with 1db.restore. And then finally, we just built this scikit model integration, which you can use to plot learning curves, ROC plots, precision recall curves, all the most important plots that you would use every day. I also want to talk about reports really fast. So reports are, I think Jonathan showed his report. Basically, these are like readmes, but better, where you can actually see your model performance and also the predictions that your model is making. So here you can see my colleague Stacy's amazing report on a semantic segmentation for self-driving cars. And so with reports, you can add markdown, and also, like I said, the model predictions, and then all these plots. And you can use these to stay on the same page with your team, or you can use this to be able to share the insights that you've had about your model with your stakeholders, with your boss, with your team, and you can be on the same page. We've been putting out some really cool reports that I would love for you guys to check out. We did one on debugging neural networks. We did one on distributed training. And then if you're working, if you're trying to do something with COVID, we have a template for how you can approach COVID research and how you can run hyperparameter sweeps and visualize your model performance. Finally, I would like to talk about two more things really fast. One is we are looking for authors. So if you're working on any cool machine learning projects and you would like to write for us, or you would like us to feature them, we would love to hear from you. I'll put my email address in the chat. And if you send me some writing examples, I would love to feature your work on our site. And then finally, we just launched our podcast and it's now on iTunes. So this is Lucas interviewing people who are doing really cool things with machine learning in production. So our first episode was with Brandon, who does machine learning at iRobot, and they go into how you would use machine learning to for robots that are in production. We also did one with Nicholas, and we talked about how you do self-driving, how you put models into production for self-driving cars.